Hello, welcome to our webinar, The Star Performer's Secret Sauce, 25 Proven Tips to Administrative Excellence with Joan Burge. Thank you for joining us today. Before I turn the program over to Joan, I have a few logistics to review with you. Today's webinar is 90 minutes, which is longer than our typical monthly webinar, and that is because we are celebrating our 25th anniversary for Office Dynamics. We are going to learn a lot, and we're going to have fun, and we have some stellar prizes to give away at the end of our program. One of the prizes is almost a value of $900. In fact, the value of the prizes we're giving away today in the webinar are over $1,500 in value. So hopefully you are one of the lucky winners. Also, Joan will speak for just under an hour today, and then we will have our question and answer session for about 15 minutes. Then Joan has an exciting announcement today after the Q&A, and we'll end our program with our fun and fabulous prize giveaways. You can submit any questions that you have during the webinar or hold them until the end of the program. You can do so, submit your questions in the chat box on the right of your screen. There's a little box where you can enter your questions and even a checkbox if you want to mark it as a question so that it stands out for our administrators. So anytime you want to do that, go ahead and submit your questions and we'll hold them until the end. Please keep in mind that Joan may not be able to get to everyone's questions today. We had well over 2,000 registrants for today's webinar, so we have a lot of attendees and we'll get to as many questions as we can in the time allotted. You will also receive access to today's webinar, so if you're having any technology issues, that means sound, buffering, can't get into the webinar, we will send you a replay link after the webinar and you'll be able to watch that as well as follow along with the handouts, etc. Let's see, there is a handout for today's program, and we actually have the link to that handout in the chat box there. If you missed the link that we sent to you earlier this week, there is a link right there on the side. It's posted in a greenish color. It's the handout for today. Also, let's see here, as a bonus, you have a couple bonus handouts, and they are the 25-page booklet for Star Savers. It's called Star Savers. It's a little mini book that just has a ton of great tips in it. Also, Joan's 25-page white paper on the administrative profession. It's called The Administrative Professional, a Vital Yet Overlooked Contributor. Both of those links are at the very beginning of the chat thread, and we'll put them up again for you in a few minutes so that if you missed the email with those links, we'll make sure that we put them in the chat box for you to catch up. Also, let's see here. I think that is the tail end of my announcements. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Joan. Joan Burge is the founder and CEO of Office Dynamics International. Joan is an accomplished author, professional speaker, consultant, and corporate trainer. In 1990, she created a business in an untapped niche, overcoming monumental obstacles, including corporations and managers' attitudes and prejudices and stereotypes about executive assistants and administrative professionals. She has dedicated herself to inspiring excellence and encouraging administrative professionals to reach for the stars. Her company, Office Dynamics International, is a global industry leader which offers a broad range of solutions and provides high-performance, sophisticated executive and administrative assistant training and coaching. Joan's never-ending quest to provide top-notch educational programs to assistants and their executives has earned her the respect from prominents like Cisco, AT&T, the Boeing Company, Humana Inc., Sunoco, Nokia, Procter & Gamble, Nationwide Insurance, Chevron, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Welcome, Joan.
Hi, Jasmine. Woo!
Yay!
Big day for us today, 25-year celebration. Wow, it's amazing, and welcome everyone. I am so excited that you are attending today's webinar. It's going to be wonderful. You're going to learn a lot. We're going to have fun. We're going to give away prizes, and I have a very exciting announcement too. I was just sitting here thinking how 25 years ago when I started my company in June, I did not have this technology available. The only way I had access to assistants was to physically show up at their office. And so to think 25 years later, here we are and we're reaching thousands of assistants all over the world. Well, there are some good things about technology, aren't there? So again, I want to thank you all for joining us. I also want to thank our affiliate partners for supporting our webinars. And you can see them on our affiliate partner page. I hope that you will visit their websites after this program. So thank you, affiliate partners. Well, when I started Office Dynamics in 1990, and I was wondering, what am I going to teach assistants? I knew I wanted to teach, but then I really had to think about, what am I going to teach them? And so I started asking myself several questions. I was thinking about, why did certain assistants stand out where others did not? Why did certain assistants shine and excel? Why did certain assistants get the promotions and get to work for the CEOs of the company or the top level executives? And so I really searched and I thought back on the 25 years that I worked in the profession. I worked in 12 different companies in 5 states, so I had a lot to draw on. And there were certain assistants that truly stood out in the companies in which I worked. There were assistants who were respected, who were honored, who, like I said, were given those cream positions. There were assistants who carried themselves with confidence and poise. And so as I thought back, I was really reflecting on the big question of why though? What was it about them? What were the skills? What were the attitudes? You know, what were the traits? Well, after months of reflection and doing my research and thinking about my own role as an assistant, I was able to identify serious attitudes, traits, behaviors, skills. There was this formula, in other words. And the formula is what led me to write the Star Achievement Series. I realized that these star performing assistants had certain attitudes. They had a certain skill set. They were really great at team playing and working with others. And they especially had a strategy for how to actualize their professional selves. So today, the 25 proven tips that I am going to share with you, the secret sauce, are 25 proven strategies out of a massive strategies that I have been teaching in my Star Achievement series for 25 years. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the series, the Star Achievement program is a staple program in many large organizations like Cisco, Humana, gosh, what are some of our other ones we have? Oh, Procter & Gamble. So I want to share this with you, and I'm very excited about today's program. So let's begin. I hope you have your handouts ready, and we're going to be doing some fill in the blanks too as I go through the program. So I will try to go at a pace where you can catch what I'm going to say and be able to capture those ideas and write them down. So if you have your handout ready, I can't wait to share the number 1 most important tip. All right, so you should have up a logo of the Star Achievement Program. So the number 1 star performing tip of star assistants is that they live the Star Achievement philosophy. So the Star Achievement philosophy says that you have the potential to be a star in your profession, but it does take the right combination of attitude, skill, teamwork, and strategy. So if we look at the attitude piece, it's not only achieving a positive attitude, but it's maintaining a positive attitude throughout your entire day. So what I noticed is that those great assistants, even though they had challenging days and they had a lot on their plate, they always had this great attitude. They were always able to manage the chaos and go about their day with calm and really taking control of what was happening. So attitude's an important piece. And I'd like you to kind of rate yourself on these 4 components as I go through them. The second component was skill. The star performing assistants definitely have the skill to do their job. Now, there's 2 aspects with skill. So one is they leverage the great skills they already have. And secondly, they're always working at developing new skills. So if you think about yourself, you have to have the skill to do your job and do it well, and also develop new skills on a regular basis. The third component of the STAR philosophy and of stellar assistance is the teamwork piece, and this is very important. So that's about building great relationships with your executive, but it's also expanding those relationships. If you support multiple executives, it's building great relationships with those individuals as well. It's also team playing with your administrative peers and also seeing how you fit within the big picture of your entire organization. The strategy piece was the most important component because I found many assistants did have a good attitude. They did have the skill to do the job. And they were building great relationships with their managers. But what really stood out was the strategy component. The top performing assistants that I met and knew in my profession had a strategy for their overall excellence. They knew how to set goals. They were great networkers. They had a very professional image and presence about them. It's what I called the icing on the cake. So when all things are equal, what separates you from all the other assistants that are out there? So that's the number 1, and I hope that you can incorporate that into your daily life. So let's go on. And remember, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box throughout the program, and we'll be answering those later. All right, so in your handout, number 2, this was another critical piece, is that star performing assistants view their role as being one of a strategic partner. So the word you want to fill in is strategic. So star performing assistants know there is a difference between just working for someone or even just working with someone and truly building a strategic partnership. I was very fortunate in my administrative career to have 3 executives that I worked for out of 12 whereby I had a strategic partnership. So there definitely is a difference. And when you get to that level of being strategic, you're really in the game. You're engaged in the business. Your executive is looking to you for decisions. They want to get your view. They want to get your opinion and what you think. When you're in a strategic partnership, you're able to have open dialogue with each other. And you're really able to have what I call the uncomfortable conversations. Not that that means you're getting really personal with each other. What I mean by that is it's that open feedback. It's that open dialogue that you have with each other. So when we think about that number 2 in that strategic partnership, there are 3 stages of a partnership that you can have with your executive. The first stage is a team relationship. So that's probably what everyone out there has. The second stage is what I call a partnership. And then the third stage, the most ideal stage that you can have with your executive, is the strategic partnership stage. So my question to you is, do you see yourself as a strategic partnership? Do you see yourself working alongside your executive? You work in tandem, you make decisions in tandem. Or are you more on the sidelines watching your executive run the ball down the field while you sit on the side cheering him or her? Our number 3 secret is that star performers assess current performance and set developmental goals. All the great assistants I know, all the ones I knew for 20 years, all the assistants I've known for 25 years since I've started Office Dynamics, assess their current level within their skill set. So it's continually assessing where you are today, leveraging the great talents that you have, and always working on developing your skills. So my question to you is, where are you within that? Are you taking the time to assess your skill level? Very, very important. And also along with that piece, in terms of setting your goals, that should be something that is done whether your company has you write individual development plans or not. It's something you do on your own. All right, so we're on to number 4. This is one of my favorite. Star performing assistants develop a high tolerance for change. So the word is tolerance. Star performing assistants believe that thriving on change is something they control. And this is a topic that I've been teaching for years in my Star Achievement program. Sometimes people think change is what happens to them and that they have no control, but that's not true. This is a skill you can develop. And a lot of organizations are going through change today. In fact, in the past 2 weeks, several of our top clients that we work with have been going through massive changes. And they have told me that the Star Achievement program has really been their salvation. So what do you do? How do you manage change? I actually want to give you the strategies for dealing with change. And this could also be in your personal life or your professional life. So first of all, you have to anticipate change. You have to keep your eyes and your ears open. You have to listen to what's going on. You have to read the newspaper. You have to listen to people in your organization so that you can anticipate change. And then if you can anticipate, you can do number 2, which is to prepare for the change. And even if you are not aware or can anticipate some of the changes, once you hear about change, you can start preparing for them. So let's say, for example, your organization says that they're going to be bringing in a new software program and everyone's going to have to learn that. Well, you can wait until the day it arrives and you're struggling trying to learn that new program and get your work done. Or you could start reading about it, learning about it. You can talk to your IT people. So again, you can prepare a little bit. The next step under change is to really assess. And what I mean by that is to really assess how you feel about the change. To, rather than brush off your feelings, to say, this is how I feel. I'm stressed, I'm scared, I don't know how this is going to impact me, and really think about where you are with it so that you can start to build your toolbox to deal with the change that is coming. Next within change is to visualize. You have to visualize that you are going to get through the change. If you visualize that you're not going to do very well, then that's what's going to happen. So I want you to visualize success, visualize yourself getting through a change, visualize yourself being on that other side of that change. Accept it. You know, the more we fight change, the worse it is. There are certain changes that are going to happen no matter what you and I do. So, like I said, the more we fight it, the worse it is. Accept it, embrace it. Look at it as a learning experience. Then you want to get support. You know, we can't go through change alone. I always reach out and have a support network around me. So support would come in the way of your good friends. That could be family members who support you. But also I want you to know that strangers can be of tremendous support. In fact, when I started my business 25 years ago, my husband Dave was not very supportive. He was a nervous wreck. He knew that I was going out. I wanted to start a business that never had really been touched by anyone else. I was giving up a regular paycheck and benefits, and that was pretty scary. So I had to seek support from outside individuals, and I remember that I listened to Brian Tracy, who you might want to check out. Brian Tracy. He is wonderful and fabulous. And I would listen to Brian Tracy every single day on my little cassette tapes. I would put those in my car, but that is what got me through, or Brian is who got me through my first year of starting my business. So it doesn't always have to be people who are close to you. Obviously, that's wonderful and you want that, but also you can get support from outsiders, even like us, Office Dynamics. We're here to support you. And then also the next step is to hang tough. Tough people, or I should say, tough situations never last, but tough people do. So you have to see yourself as being that tough person and know that maybe what is going on right now, if you don't like what is happening, it's not going to last forever. Over 25 years of being in business, we've come across some very tough challenges, but obviously I've been tougher than what I've had to go through. So see yourself as hanging tough. The next one is to look at change as an opportunity to grow. Lean into it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't back away from it. Embrace change, even when it's something you don't like. Because if you view it that way, I promise you will always learn something, and you will grow and you will become a better person. And as the quote says on your handout, I love this quote by Juliana Stock. She said, change is like going on an expedition. It can be a trudge or a hike. Take it all in and enjoy the view, or focus on the faults. It's absolutely a choice. All right, let's go on. We're on to number 5, so we still have 20 more to go. I'm going to keep us moving. Star performing assistants. Practice mindfulness. Now, what do I mean by that? Mindfulness is the art of staying in the present. So I hope right now you are practicing mindfulness. Don't worry about what's sitting at your desk. Don't worry about the emails that you're going to have to respond to. Right now, be very mindful, be in the present, get the most that you can out of this webinar. But that's what star performing assistants do. They don't run on autopilot. And if you think about your day, and when I think about our day, a lot of times I feel like we do run on autopilot. We're just going through the motions. We're trying to get our work done. We're responding to emails. We're watching the clock. We're thinking about all that we have to get done in a single day. But when you truly are a star, you stop and you think and you reflect and you're in the moment. You're focused on what you're doing. And that is one of the most important strategies also that I could share with you today is the word focus. So if by number 5 you would write that word, I hope that you will remember that. Let's go on to number 6. Of course, this is one of my favorite. This is the theme of our annual conference for administrative excellence this year. It is to develop resilience. When I think about the incredible assistants I have met over, 45 years now, they are truly resilient. Star performing assistants have to be resilient to their executives. So if you're going to work for those higher level executives, you have to be able to take what they dish out. And it's nothing personal, it's just business. But to be a star, you have to have a tough shell. And not that I mean that you're tough with people. You have to have compassion, you have to be caring, you have to be warm. But what I mean is you have to have a tough shell that you don't fall down every time someone says something to you that you don't like or that hurts your feelings. Or maybe your executive is just venting about something and you're the only person that they can vent to. You have to be rock solid. But you also have to be resilient with all the changes that take place in the workplace. You have to be resilient with your peers. You have to be able to pick yourself up when you have fallen down, and you have to be able to bounce back and actually end up going, farther on your journey than you thought was ever possible. Number 7 is to seek harmony. So the word you want to write down is harmony. To see conflict is a win-win situation. Typically when we think of conflict, it's someone has to win and someone has to lose situation. And I hope I win and I hope you lose. Well, we're never going to get anywhere. We will not be a star performing assistant if we think in that respect. So the idea is to always seek harmony. And the best strategy I have under number 7 is to listen carefully in order to understand others. That is the best tip I have learned in my life, that when I feel like I'm in conflict with someone or have different views or different opinions, I stop and I listen to what they are saying. I try to listen for their perspective. Okay, is everyone staying up with us, I hope? So let's see, we're filling in the blanks for each other. I'm glad you're doing that in the chat room. All right, number 8. Are you ready? Drive solutions. Star assistants see a problem and they figure out the solution and they drive it. I mean, they take hold of it. They take ownership. They go to management and they try to sell that solution or that idea and why they think it's a great idea. So in today's world, especially, you can't just sit back and say, oh, I see a problem, or I see this as a hindrance to us, and we're not working as effectively as we could. We have to see it in our minds. You have to think it through. You have to try to figure out some solutions and then bring those solutions to your manager or your management team. And then, like I said, even drive it. What I mean by that is to lead it, to put it into implementation, to execute it. Number 9, I've noticed that all star assistants set healthy boundaries. Now, we just did an hour webinar on that a few months ago, maybe even a month or 2 ago. I don't quite remember, but we have a whole program on that. And that is one area that I notice assistants of all walks of life struggle with. They're always asking me, how do I set healthy boundaries, Joan, without losing my job? Well, that is something we've been teaching assistants for 25 years, and the idea is you need to do that. And to do that, you have to be a great communicator, and you also have to learn to set boundaries right away, not months after something has occurred. I'm going to run through the answers really quick. I notice many of you are trying to fill in your blanks, so let's just go back quickly. Number 2 is where we started filling in the blanks. So view their role as being one of a strategic business partner. Number 3, the fill in the blank, the word is assess. Number 4, fill in the blank, the word is tolerance. Number 5, the fill in the blank is mindfulness. Number 6, develop resilience. Number 7 is to seek harmony. Number 8 is to drive solutions. Number 9 is to set healthy boundaries. All right, what is the number 10 secret of star performing assistants? Establish a professional brand. Yes, star performing assistants care about professionalism. They care about establishing their brand. They care about how they present themselves. And this actually would be the strategy piece of the Star Achievement Program. This is the icing on the cake. I mean, just think about it. Imagine if you are interviewing for a job. Let's say, well, actually, we are looking for an assistant for Office Dynamics. We just posted that this week, that we are hiring for an assistant. So imagine now that I get 5 people who I think are qualified to fill that position. All 5 of those interviewees have a great attitude. They have the skill to do the job. They're team players. They know how to support management. What is going to make one of the 5 stand out and say that, choose me, Joan, for your company? It's going to be the professionalism. It's going to be how they present themselves. It's going to be how they, it's going to be appearance. Yes, it's going to be their body language. It's going to be how they speak. So that's what I mean by professionalism. It's everything. It's all encompassing. Number 11, they manage their stress and that of their executives. So top performing assistants will tell me, I not only have to manage my stress, but I have to manage the stress of my executive. The people you support are under tremendous stress. You know, when I was an assistant, I thought that I had a lot of stress, and I did. I was managing a lot of people. I was running executives' lives. I was changing calendars all the time. I would work on Saturdays. I would sometimes work until 8 o'clock at night. But until I became an executive, did I really learn the depth of stress that my executives had. So I know that's really tough for you. It's hard to manage your own stress and to manage someone else's, but that's what star performing assistants do. Let's go to number 12. This is a favorite of mine. Star assistants embrace the mindset of leadership. This is huge, and this is an area all of you can jump on the bandwagon for, and that's being a leader. You do not have to be in a management position to be a leader. I tell assistants this all the time. All of you have the potential to be a leader. It's a set of characteristics. And in your handout, I have identified, let's see, we have 9 areas of how you can lead and where you can lead. And I'm not going to go through every one of these because we have many more strategies to go over together. But I want to encourage you. I want you to please read this. Take the time. Rate yourself. See where you excel and see where you need to grow and what you can do better. But I know each and every one of you have the potential to be leaders. All right, let's go on to number 13. All star assistants own their career. So first of all, I want to ask you, do you see this profession as your career of choice? That's very important. That is something that I have watched and observed for 4 decades. And you know, actually in the early days when I came out of school and I became an assistant, we really viewed it as a true career. And then I think over the time we went through a period where people were just going into the profession to get a job and be in a great company. And there are still some people who do that today. In other words, they want to get into a big organization, so they figure if they start out in the administrative arena, then they can move into something else in the future. But I hope you view this as a career and really own it. And that means, of course, that you have to set your professional development goals and continue to fine-tune those goals as you go along. Let's go to number 14. I hope everyone is still with us. And star assistants, they share, they collaborate, and they find strength and unity with their peers. So all star performing assistants see their peers as people they want to lean on, that they want to get best practices from. Again, I can share with you from both sides of the desk. So in other words, when I was an assistant, I had some great peers around me. And we would help each other out when we were in crunches, when we would get in crazy times. We were there to support each other. But yet I also know that when I was an assistant, I saw a lot of pettiness and gossip and jealousy. And that just isn't right. And now today, since I've been on the other side of the desk, one area that organizations want their assistants to grow in and to excel in is learning to share information, to be mentors to each other. They've been pushing collaboration. And in fact, collaboration has become so big that I made this an entire module within our Star Achievement series just as of about 18 months ago. So I want to encourage you to Google collaboration and find out how it is different from teamwork. Also, share each other's successes. When your peer does something great or has a success, tell them that they did a great job. You know, be happy for them. And you're going to find that they're going to do the same thing for you. Let's go on to number 15. This is very important. And that is to use diplomacy and tact. What do I mean by diplomacy? Well, I'd love to see some of your comments, and if you want to add those into the box and share with each other how you would define diplomacy, that is great. But basically what I mean by that is that when you disagree with someone, you're diplomatic about it. You're not brutal, you're not mean, you're not rude. Again, I'd like to ask all of you out there, when you hear me say the word being diplomatic or diplomacy, what words come to your mind? So feel free to share that. I want to see what else I have for diplomacy. It's being grace, it's acting like grace under fire. So when you are in the heat of the moment, when you have all these people and things coming at you and all these challenges and deadlines are coming at you all at once, you are just calm and collected. I love some of the words that you're coming up with. I'm looking at the chat box. You're saying that diplomacy is also tact. It's, what else did I see? Harmony. So thank you very much for sharing that. I also have a quote in your handout about unity, being in strength and teamwork and collaboration. So that's also being diplomatic with your peers. It ties back to that as well. Let's look at number 16. Star performing assistants enlarge their influence. So they see beyond themselves. They want to have impact in their organization. They want to be persuasive. They want to start administrative teams. They want to start administrative groups, and they want to lead those groups. They have influence with management. And an example that comes to mind for me is that many, many years ago, Office Dynamics used to award what was called the Rising Stars Award. And we used to give that award out at our annual conferences, and that award went to administrative teams who are making a huge impact in their organization. They were influencing management on how they saw their assistants. They were setting up committees. They had mission statements. They had vision statements. They were bringing in training and development. They had tremendous impact on the hundreds of assistants in their organizations. And so they didn't just keep to themselves. They didn't just say, okay, I'm great, and I just want to be out there for myself. It was more of, I do have great skills. I do have great talents, and I know other assistants have great skills and talents, and we want to influence. We want to have impact on our organization and those around us. So my question to you on this very, very special day is, are you influencing others in your organization through the gifts and the talents that you have? Don't be selfish. Let the world know all that you have to offer and impact others. Number 17, star assistants welcome everyday challenges, and they course correct. So this is something that we teach in our level 3 of the STAR Achievement Series. So I have 3 levels within STAR. There's a level 1, there's a level 2, and a level 3. And in each level, we cover the components of attitude, skill, teamwork, and strategy. So what do I mean by this, that they course correct? Well, what most people would see as mistakes and failures, STAR performers see as an opportunity to change their course. They realize that failure provides lessons. Failures can make them better. And so instead of feeling bad about a failure, feeling like a victim when something doesn't go right, they say, okay, how do I turn this into a great experience? What can I learn from my failure? Maybe I didn't make the best decision. Maybe I didn't represent my executive in the way that I should have. Or maybe you have failed your executive. Maybe you've let your executive down on something. And so instead of seeing it as a failure, you say, okay, what do I need to learn from this? What did I do wrong? What do I need to do differently next time? And you change the course of your action. Course correction is about taking responsibility. It's not blaming others for anything that goes wrong or happens. We have to take ownership. And if you are a STAR assistant, that's what you do. While others may have done something that has affected your work, or maybe it slowed you down from delivering a project on time, you're going to take ownership of that and you're going to move forward. And like I said, you're going to look at maybe how can you prevent that from happening in the future? Or what can you do differently? Let's see what else I have. So I believe this is also in your handout. Under course correctors, there are 5 specific strategies. And again, I want you to think about yourself as I go through these 5. Rate yourself. So course correctors look for alternatives. In other words, a lot of times, no is not an option for course correctors. They just look for alternatives. They gather information. So maybe sometimes we make a mistake or we fail because we didn't get enough information, or we didn't go to enough people. We didn't get feedback. We didn't get other people's views and perspectives. We become very, and I know I do this sometimes, very controlling, and we just want to do it ourselves. Course correctors leverage other people's, as I just said, leverage people resources. The 4th one, they apply course correcting communication. So they will say things like, I prefer or I choose, instead of saying I have to or someone made me do it. It's I choose to do it. And they also use self-management tools. So what do I mean by self-management? Well, this is something else, again, that we've been teaching in STAR Achievement. For years, we've talked about stress management. People tell us to manage our stress. But really what we have to do is manage our thinking. We have to manage ourselves. We have to manage how we view and see a situation. So that's what I mean by self-management. Number 18. Hopefully everyone's there with us. I love this in that STAR performers are committed to their well-being. So certainly your intellect is important. Certainly your skills are important. But you also have to take care of yourself. So one of the things I love to talk about in STAR Achievement is if you're going to be a STAR performing assistant, you have to look at the food you eat throughout the day. You know, there are certain foods that make us tired. So if I want to be my best, if I want to be able to have maximum energy as I go through my chaotic day, I have to watch what I eat at lunch. Thinking about sleep. Did you get a good night's rest? We all know that if we don't sleep very well, we can't think clearly. We can't be on top of our game. So if you're going to be a star performing assistant, you have to really take care of yourself. Like I said, get a good night's rest, make sure you work out, go to the gym, do stress relieving exercises. Maybe you want to treat yourself to a massage. And actually, this is becoming quite big in the workplace. If your company has anything that they offer on wellness, would you mention that in the chat box? Does your company offer a gym? Do they have a gym? Do they offer any wellness programs? How many of your organizations give you credit or have little gifts if you walk your 10,000 miles? I think it's, or how many is it? 10,000 feet a day. I don't know. Jasmine will have to clarify that one. But I'd like to know if any of your companies support that and have wellness programs. All right, let's move on. How's everyone doing, first of all? I've been moving right along here. Do I need to go back through any of these for you? Maybe I'll start with number 13 if you want to go back through your handout a minute really quickly. Number 13, if you didn't get that answer, it's own their career. Number 14, share, collaborate, and find strength in unity with their peers. Number 15, use diplomacy and tact. Number 16, enlarge their influence. Number 17, welcome everyday challenges and course correct. Number 18, committed to their well-being. And I notice a lot of you are responding. I love this, to see that your companies are offering these programs for you. So this isn't out of range. This isn't anything out of the ordinary that I'm mentioning to you. And I'm really glad to see that. And I think you clarified for me it was 10,000 steps. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone, I want to catch my breath a second and let you catch your breath. I think that I am just so excited about today that I'm racing ahead of myself. This is a big moment, and I'm really thrilled from the bottom of my heart that you are all here to share this day with us. I didn't know 25 years ago that we would impact tens of thousands of administrative professionals around the world. And so forgive me if I've gone a little fast for you today. I think I'm just so excited. Words cannot express my appreciation for each and every one of you. So thank you, and Jasmine thanks you as well. Okay, I'm over with that. Let's go on to number 19. An excellent communicator. Star assistants are excellent communicators in every aspect. And I have 5 areas that I will specifically mention for you. Number 1, a star assistant takes time to understand the situation or the expected outcome. Number 2, a star assistant carefully selects the most effective media to communicate. In other words, what I mean by that is just because someone emails you doesn't mean you should email them back. If you're going to be a star assistant, you're going to think about your goal, you're going to think about your motive, you're going to think about your relationship with people, and then you're going to decide whether or not to send an email, or whether you should pick up the phone, or whether you're going to walk down the hall and talk to them. Number 3, star assistants under communication positions information in a way that the receiver is going to be open. So when we're communicating, we should want people to be open to our ideas and to what we have to say. So you want to position yourself very carefully. Number 4, still under communication, star assistants do their best to provide clear, concise communication. And I think it's very difficult in this world of where we're racing all the time to hurry up and get things done. We don't stop and ask, am I clearly communicating? Am I being concise? And number 5, under number 19, is STAR assistants clarify misunderstandings and misperceptions. You know, we can think that we're communicating clearly with people. I think I do. And then all of a sudden I realize by either what they say back to me or what they write back to me that, oh, I must not have maybe clearly communicated like I thought. And so you want to work at communicating with others to really help clarify perceptions and expectations. Number 20, STAR assistants step outside of themselves to build rapport with others. Yes, when you're a STAR, it isn't about you. Believe it or not, when I talk about being a STAR assistant, it's not an ego thing. In fact, it is the complete opposite. When you're a STAR, you care about others. You care about influencing others, impacting others. You care about how people feel. You're humble. You want to build rapport. You're sensitive to other people's feelings. So as you go through your day, you're paying attention to people. It's also what we call emotional intelligence. And if you want to Google that, that would be another area of skill development for you, is emotional intelligence and how to apply that to what you do as an administrative professional. Number 21, I love this one. STARs tap into their creativity. So this is something else that we not only teach in STAR, but I see happen every single time I teach a STAR class, and it is so much fun. So in the STAR Achievement Program, we use a lot of props. We make the program fun. We have boas, we have big eyeglasses or sunglasses, we have clapboards for role plays and when you do presentations. We have auctions. We have, what else? All kinds of different STAR cutouts. We have some fun hats that people wear and even a Michael Jackson glove. So what I do, or what we do, any of our trainers or people who teach STAR in their companies have all these props out on a table. And throughout the day when we're teaching STAR, we encourage the attendees to use these props to be more creative. And they do. It's amazing what people will come up with. And the funny part is they think they are not creative. So each and every one of you has creativity within you. Creativity just comes out in different ways. So I might say that I'm creative in my writing. I'm creative in thinking of ideas for programs and webinars and different things for assistance. But I wouldn't say I'm maybe real creative in the artsy kind of way of being creative, or maybe with music. One thing we do when we teach creativity in level 3 of the STAR Achievement Program, one of the homework assignments we have is that every participant has to bring something to class that represents creativity for them. And that's all we tell them. And what they'll show up with are maybe these beautiful blankets they've made, or they'll show us how they creatively decorated a room in their house, or how they creatively planted a garden, how they creatively put their daughter's wedding together. So again, just remember, creativity comes out in many ways or in different ways for each of us. But I'd like to encourage you to really use your creativity at work today. It's really important. And in fact, as we're moving into the conceptual age, organizations are requiring that employees do more right brain thinking than left brain. So the left brain is the logical side of our brain. It's the very structured, scientific, analytical part of our brain. The right side is the artistic side. It's the free-flowing side. It's the part where that creativity resides. So I want you to be able to do that. Number 22, let's see how we're doing on time here. So number 22 is all STAR assistants seek and work with mentors or coaches. So I remember when I was an assistant, and especially in the early days, I always looked to those top assistants. I looked to the assistants who were stars in our company. And I would ask them to mentor me. I would ask them to lunch, and I would treat them to lunch, in fact. And then I would pick their brain about how did they become such a great assistant. I'm also happy to see today that more executives are financially supporting coaching for their assistants. How do I know this? Because I'm doing it. And it's very, very exciting to think at this point in time that an executive will hire a coach for private one-on-one coaching for their executive assistant. That really speaks volumes. Now, aside from that, though, you should find your own coaches, find your own mentors. You don't always have to pay for a coach. And you don't have to do that for mentors as well. All right, let's go on. Number 23. STAR assistants never forget the importance of administrative foundation skills. It doesn't matter if you've been in this profession for 30 or 40 or 50 years. If you're a STAR, you never forget how important the foundation skills are, because those are the skills you use every single day. What do I mean by foundation skills? That those are communication skills, meeting planning, travel planning, organization, prioritization. So all of those basic skills are critically important, and you should be nurturing those skills every single day. Number 25, STAR assistants choose their attitude. Instead of blaming others or blaming the situation, I always say, and I said this in 1990 and I still say it today, attitude is a choice. Life happens to all of us. Things happen to all of us. We're all challenged at work. We all have worked with what I call the dragons in the workplace, but we have a choice, and that is great news. And I'm not saying that you have to walk around with this perfect, wonderful attitude and smile on your face 24 hours a day. That is not what I'm saying. It's just knowing that you are choosing your attitude. And if you choose to be upset, fine, then you're choosing to be upset. And if you choose to say, I don't want to be upset anymore, I need to move on because this isn't helping me, then you're making that choice. And number 25, the grand finale. STAR assistants are always reaching for the stars. I have figured out why I love stars so much. I did research. Stars represent high ideals and great hope. That's why I love the stars so much. Because I always have great hope. No matter how hard things get at work, no matter how difficult things get, no matter how many challenges are thrown at me, I always have hope that there's going to be a better day, that I can tackle what I have to tackle. But also I love the piece about the high ideals. And so I hope that you will always set high ideals for yourself. Do not settle for anything less. Be confident. Be confident in what you could do, and don't let anyone stand in your way at work. And that's what happens sometimes. There is an assistant who is eager to learn and wants to be that star, and then he or she is held back by a boss or by a peer or by a friend saying you can't do that. Yes, you can. So those are the 25 tips. I noticed that we're getting to that time where we need to have our question and answer period. Please don't leave. I have a very important announcement to make before our program's over, and we have our prizes at the very end. So Jasmine, let's turn it over for Q&A.
Wow, Joan, you were like rapid fire with
Was
your 25 tips. Well, it was great. I mean, you just had so much information and the chat box was going crazy. It's been so fun. So we have a ton of questions, so I'm just going to jump right in here. So Jackie is asking, how do we keep others from thinking we're not serious since we always have a positive attitude? She was told the other day that she was just too nice and not mean enough. So what advice do you have for Jackie on having a positive attitude and still being seen as a serious professional?
Oh, that's great. People are really funny, aren't they? Well, first of all, continue to maintain your wonderful attitude. Maybe there are opportunities, though, where you could be firm. Maybe there are some situations that occur where not that you have to be mean to people, but maybe be a little more firm in your tone of voice, maybe a little more firm in your demeanor. They also could mean that you're not real assertive. In other words, maybe you're also just not sending off an aura of assertiveness. So I would look into assertiveness as well. And then I would also tell people, if they make that comment, you can just nicely say, well, thank you so much for that compliment. I love the fact that you don't see me as being mean, because that's exactly what I want to portray. And give them a big smile. Then they're really going to get upset.
That's excellent, Joan. Thank you. I like that it may just be more assertiveness than meanness that they're looking for. Okay, so Julie is asking, Joan, what do you do when your boss tells you he doesn't want you to spend money on training for you when he can bring someone in to teach everyone in your department on a specific topic? And I know this is something you're very passionate about, especially when they're trying to lump the administrative role in with everyone else. So let's see here. I want to just broadcast Julie's question so everybody can see it. So especially when it's a topic that would be great for you as an admin, but not so good for everyone else. So she wants to maybe go to something that's more specific for her role, and they're saying, well, let's just bring somebody in to teach everybody.
So I love this question. This is great. So one thing is to make the comment that that's a great idea, because one, we can learn everything. We can learn all kinds of things from all kinds of people. But the analogy that I used to use with my executives, both to get a raise, job title change, and training, is the idea of, let's say I'm talking to my executive who's a president, that I would say, well, if you look at the executive world, if you think about managers and executives, they have desires to grow in their chosen profession. So people start out as entry-level managers, then they move on to more experienced managers, then they get usually promoted to directors, then on to senior directors, vice presidents, seniors vice presidents, and then of course a select few move up to being a president. And they get special training so that they can excel in their profession. They learn things that are not privy to everyone else. Human resource professionals get specialized training so they can excel in their career. It's the same thing. As an administrative professional, there are certain core skills and attitudes and traits that I need to learn so I can be my very best in my profession, just like you strive to be the very best in your profession.
Absolutely. That is solid advice. Thank you, Joan. Okay, I know that we've addressed this topic in a previous webinar and we have that information out there, but Susan is asking if you can just give an example of setting healthy boundaries.
Yes, I could give a very simple example that I did when I was an assistant. And then maybe I could think of another more recent one too, but this really stands out for me in my mind, is that after 17 years of being in the executive assistant profession, I had started a job. Well, we moved from Virginia. Where did we move from? No, I got to think. We had moved to Memphis, Tennessee from North Carolina. This was in the mid-'80s. I had been in the profession for 17 years. And I finally, after several job interviews, landed a job working for Coppertone, at Coppertone. And I was working for the vice president of marketing. It was a great, fun place to work. Now imagine, again, I had been in the profession 17 years. Well, at that time, we did not have electronic calendars. We had your good old paper desk calendar. And I kept my executive's calendar on my desk at my workspace. Well, there were a lot of young people who reported to my executives. They represented my executive. They represented a lot of different brands of copper tone. And so I'll never forget the first time one of those directors walked into my workstation, picked up Steve's calendar, my executive, and started looking through it. Well, I took that calendar right out of their hand and I said, can I help you? Do you need to schedule a meeting with Steve? I will look through his calendar and I will let you know of his availability, or something to that effect. And I remember that person looked at me kind of stunned that I would grab the calendar from her, but I wanted her to know right away I was setting a boundary. You do not just come into my workspace and take my executive's calendar. That's my job, and you will go through me. So it was subtle, and I was nice, but I was firm about it. So that's one example of setting a healthy boundary. As soon as someone does something that you don't like, I think a very good example, really quick, I think this is an area systems can set healthy boundaries on, is about email with your executives. Do your executives expect you to check email every night and on weekends? That's a great area. And if you feel that that is being abused, then that's an area to set a healthy boundary.
Okay. Thank you, Joan, for sharing those examples. Let's see here. We have a bunch more questions, and if you are trying to submit a question, it's easier for us to find those questions because the chat is moving so quickly. If you mark them as a question, they go into a separate area for our admins, and we're able to pull them right up. So our next question, Joan, is from Betty, and Betty asks if you can provide some examples on how, as assistants, we can help manage our executive stress.
Yes. Jasmine, and I think you could jump in. I know one thing that for me is when Jasmine reminds me that I did not want to fill my calendar up, because I'll have a tendency to say yes, and oh, I want to talk to people and I don't want to disappoint people. And then Jasmine's really good at reminding me of, remember, Joan, you need some quiet time, you need to work on this, or you need downtime. And then I'll say, oh yes, I forgot. So sometimes I'm my worst enemy. Managing stress is sometimes being that great gatekeeper. If you know your manager has a lot on their plate right now and they're trying to be focused and trying to work and they feel very time compressed, keep people away as much as you can for them. Let them breathe. Maybe suggest they go out, they take a walk around the building and catch their breath and do a little deep breathing. Jasmine, what do you think from your perspective? Because you do that for me.
Sure. Well, I guess it's just being intuitive and knowing the leader that you support and what causes stress for them and what alleviates stress for them, and then just trying to put more of that into their life. For Joan, I know that it's space, and that's why I make that remark when she starts to fill her calendar up, because I know what's going to happen when she starts to have all those appointments that she said yes to, and that's when I see her really get frazzled and stressed, and then the quality of her work just isn't where she wants it to be, which then snowballs and she's stressed by that. So when you really know the leader that you're supporting and what those triggers are, you're able to put those boundaries into place for them and to just gently nudge them when they start to push beyond those boundaries a little bit, because like Joan, they may be saying yes to things that they're going to regret saying yes to later. I know sometimes that they're going to have to say yes to some things, but you can also put some space in there for them.
That was a good point, to understand their stress. Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, so we're still getting a bunch more questions, so I'm just going to get through as many as I can here, Joan. Robin says that she really struggles with the whole brand thing. Where does she even start making sure she's on the right path with her professional brand?
Wow, thank you for that question. I think that's an awesome question. Is one thing, if you do not establish a brand for yourself, others will establish it for you. So I just want to make that comment, because people will say, well, maybe I don't want to take the time to establish my brand because I am who I am. But then you're still going to be branded by people. So it's better for us to think about our brand. So you would first stop and take the time, and what I always, what we do in class in STAR, is we get people to think of descriptors. If you had to describe how you want to be viewed by others in 5 or 6 words, what would that be? So for me, for example, I want people to view me as being very professional, polished, more on the, well, I want to be viewed on the modern side, but not crazy contemporary. So you have to make some descriptors of how you want people to view you or how you want to be perceived by others. Then you take those words and you look at, am I portraying that in my dress? So does my dress look professional? Yes. Or maybe you want to be viewed as very casual. That's okay too. It's what you want to be viewed as, how you want to be viewed. Then you go through your checklist. Does my hair portray that? What about the glasses I wear? What about the shoes I wear? I mean, every piece of you is a part of your brand, but also I want you to know that part of your brand can also be your attitude. Your brand could be that you're always on time. Your brand could be calmness. So you first have to describe it, put it in words for yourself. And then you have to go through your little checklist of, am I portraying this? Do I speak this? And you start. And then if you're not, little by little, you start to develop those areas. And I believe, Jasmine, do we have some articles or things on our website about branding and career? And maybe we have some articles on professionalism and blogs, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, definitely. If you're searching on our website, officedynamics.com/articles, there's going to be a page of all the articles that you've written and published recently. And I'm sure that you've covered the topic of branding a couple of times, so there should be more information there. Okay, so our next question, Joan, and I'm not sure, do we need to stop for a moment? Is this that time?
Oh, I guess this is the time. If we could just stop and so I can make my announcement, and then we could also see at the end if we still have some extra time, we can take more questions.
Yeah, let's do that because we have just so many questions streaming in that I would love to get to a few more of those after we're done with the announcement here. So, okay, I'll let you take it over, Joan.
I would too. So, I mean, I would love to get to the questions, but I want to be sure I get in this very, very special announcement for everyone. So, first of all, Star Achievement, the series, has impacted tens of thousands of assistants' lives over 25 years. But it always had a limited reach. Either companies had to hire me to come in and teach the program or hire our trainers to teach the program, or we did have an option for train the trainer certification, which we still have those options today. But I want Star Achievement to impact hundreds of thousands of more assistants. I want to make it available because it does truly change lives. And so what I'm so excited about today, and I need to get my screen share up. I'm shaking, Jasmine. I'm so excited about this. I don't know, you may have to come in and help me. Seriously, I am.
Oh, okay. All right. I will come in in just a moment.
Have to come in, but I'm seriously so excited. Is that we are releasing, coming up very soon, the Star Achievement Series Trainer Kit. So again, I am very, very excited about this news that we are releasing this, that we are unveiling this very comprehensive kit so that STAR can reach hundreds of thousands of more assistants. But before I give you the details of this kit, this is what I want to share with you something very important. That the Star Achievement Program is not so much about a kit and books and PowerPoint slides. Star Achievement is about changing lives. Star Achievement is about developing people's self-confidence. It's changing how managers and executives view the administrative profession. Star Achievement is about administrative professionals learning how to become strategic partners with management. Star achievement is about changing the culture of an organization. Cisco Systems will attest to that. If you talk to Debbie Gross, who works for the CEO of Cisco, we have an entire case study on how Star Achievement changed the entire culture of a company and how they viewed the administrative profession. Star Achievement is about honesty, integrity, accountability, and owning your career. Now, before you think, oh my gosh, I'm not a trainer, I can't do this, this isn't for me, I want to share with you a couple things. Is first of all, you don't have to be a trainer to embrace the Star Achievement Program or to bring it to your organization. However, if you have a passion for teaching, if you have a passion for making a change in your company, if you have that passion for influencing your organization, then you can learn how to be a great trainer. In fact, 95% of the people who have been certified by me over 25 years to teach STAR in their company are executive and administrative assistants. The other part is you can bring this to your human resource people. You can bring this to your corporate university. You can bring this to training and to development. You can just be the champion for this. And the rest of the work has been done. I have spent 25 years putting this together. This is so simple, and yet there is so much for you. I just want to go to one slide a minute, and then we're going to go back and look at the details of the kit, and you also have a handout on that. But if you take a look at this slide for a moment, you can see there are the 4 components: the attitude, the teamwork, the skill, and the strategy. As I said, there are 3 different levels of learning, but you take a level at a time. This is something, it isn't something you get done in 3 or 4 weeks, but each level covers attitude, teamwork, skill, and strategy. So let's go back. How many of you are familiar, by the way, with the Star Achievement Series? If you are, then please let us know. But I know some of you are asking price. Before we get to that, what I want to share with you is what's really in the kit, because it goes above and beyond what you see in this slide. So if you would take out or pull out or bring forth the handout that we sent to you, or that you can access, actually, the Star Achievement Series Trainers Kit. It's for level 1. We are giving you a pre-release announcement. This will be available September, middle of September, but we are taking pre-orders now for the kit. If you turn to that handout, first of all, this kit includes 25 participant workbooks for each of the 4 levels, giving you a total of 100 workbooks. So that means that you could start a class right away for 25 administrative participants, and all their workbooks will be included for level 1. And our workbooks are absolutely amazing. They have interim activities. They have post-class reinforcement assignments. We even have companion website pages that go with each book that will link participants to blogs and videos and audios. So the one thing you really need to know is companies today, when an organization is making a decision about this program, and we just had a new company come on board a week ago, executives and managers want to know about sustainability. Not just what happens in the classroom, but is this learning going to be sustainable? Is it going to be ongoing? And we have provided all the tools for you to keep momentum in between classes and even years after a person has finished a class. The other thing that is included in the level 1 kit, and in each kit actually, for level 1, level 2, and level 3, comprehensive instructor guides. These are guides that I have personally written, where I have mapped out everything on what I do and what I say when I teach this class. There are scripts for introducing chapters and topics. There are transitional phrases so you can move from one topic to another with ease. I have listed learning objectives, the materials you need for each class, instructions for classroom activities. I've listed the training props for you, the vendors, where you get these props, detailed timelines, hints and tips. There is nothing a person has to do but want to learn it, pick it up, and implement it. We also include PowerPoint slides for each of the 4 classes, which are optional. Not all our trainers like to use the PowerPoint slides. I do both, but they are there for the trainer. The biggest and probably most valuable tool that we provide for our trainers is ongoing support from Office Dynamics. When you purchase a lot of off-the-shelf, is what they're called, training kits or program kits, you often do not have ongoing contact with the developer. That is something we do that is stellar. So when a trainer or an organization invests in this program, the trainers have access to me throughout the year. They can call and they can ask questions and they can personally speak with me if they don't understand something. We give updated instructor guide pages. If we update our PowerPoint slides, we give those to the trainers. If we find additional resources pertinent to any of the modules, I send those out personally. And also something new we're doing that's great. The first year, I am going to provide 3 free webinars for trainers so that we could go through content. If they have any questions about classroom behavior, any of that, I'm going to be having 3 webinars throughout the year where all the trainers can come in. And by the way, we already have over 40 trainers who teach STAR in various companies. And like I said, 90% are assistants. Also in the kit, we give you digital masters for training props. So as I was telling you, we use a lot of fun props in STAR. We have value auction cards and all kinds of things. So we give you the masters. There's more. There are many more things we give you. Every trainer gets a copy of the Become an Inner Circle Assistant book when they buy their kit. Number 7 on the list, this is very important and also something that we offer, and that will be access to our STAR Achievement video library. So over the years, actually over the past few years, I have produced some videos that go along with the STAR Achievement program that trainers can show in their classroom. So that's another unique feature. We're also going to give you in your kit, we have the STAR Achievement Series official certificate of completion. Not everyone can get that certificate. So we're going to provide 25 of those certificates. We're also going to provide all types of promotional materials for an organization. And one of the biggest value adds that we're providing is number 11 in the handout. It's what I'm calling the STAR Achievement Series Enterprise Rollout Kit. So what does that mean? When a company rolls out STAR, because it is so massive and wonderful, they want to send out announcements to executives and managers. Well, I have that for everyone. They want suggestions on leading a manager orientation. So a lot of times you might want to have a manager orientation where you tell managers about what's going to happen in STAR and how you need their support. We have professionally designed flyers for organizations to be able to market the program. This saves a ton of time of having to utilize your own staff. We have digital artwork for our STAR Achievement Philosophy posters. We have digital artwork for classroom ground rules. We have a comprehensive administrative competency assessment. So in other words, a lot of times managers want to assess their assistant's skill level before they go to the training, and then they want to be able to assess their skill level after the training. So we have that competency assessment. You don't have to develop it, or your training department doesn't have to develop it. A few more things we have for you in this kit is the Star Achievement Traveler's Map. So that is for the participant who's going to go on this wonderful journey. And I've mapped out what they need to do before class, what do they do during the classes, what do they do once STAR is over. Because a lot of times people just feel this letdown when STAR's all over because they've loved it. And I also have ideas on how a company maintains sustainability. So typically, if we were brought into an organization to teach STAR, it's going to cost upward $25,000 and upward into the like $200,000. Yes, it does cost that much if an organization brings us in for level 1, level 2, level 3. And we have companies who have been teaching STAR for 14 years. So we are going to offer this at a significantly discounted price, and your organization will be able to teach anywhere from 25 to 2,500 administrative professionals at a very, very reasonable price. So what we want you to do, though, is to call the office for the details. It's so massive that we really want to talk to you about it, or if there's someone, again, in your training department. I'm talking to you about this because I really hope that you'll want to be champions, that you'll want to help change the world as we've been doing for 25 years. And like I said, it isn't about the kit as much as it is about changing lives of yourself or the assistants in your organizations. And I hope that you will want to join us and continue this journey for years to come. So Jasmine, I think I'll stop there. We may have some questions either about the kit, or if we want to get to questions from our attendees, that would be great, because then I know we need to allow some time for our prize giveaways. So I hope, did I go through that? I know there's a lot to absorb.
Yes, Joan, you did. Thank you. And like you said, we'll be, our phones are forwarded right now while we're on the webinar, but after the webinar, the phones will be unforwarded, and you can definitely call and speak with one of us more about that. Like you said, it's a big program. Joan, while I am getting to the next portion of the webinar, if you just want to stop your screen share, that would be super. Okay, so lot of information today. 90 minutes doesn't even seem to be enough because we have so many questions still, and we still have the prizes to give away. So we have over $1,500 worth of prizes to share with you today, and we have our first prize, which is the Rising Star package. Of course, we're going to have to call it something to do with the stars, right? It wouldn't be Office Dynamics if we didn't. And the Rising Star package is it's our Administrative Success Starter Library, which includes our Become an Inner Circle Assistant book, Underneath It All book, the Who Took My Pen book, 26 Weeks to Administrative Excellence, the video series on DVD, as well as our other webinars and videos on CD that you would get. Success is 90% Attitude, Gain Recognition and Achieve Your Worth, and Goal Setting, Tactics to Advance Your Career. So all of those things, and we will be getting in touch with each of our winners after the webinar today just to coordinate how we'll get your prizes to you. The winner of this package is Karen Swoops at Vanderbilt. So congratulations, Karen.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, Jess,
I know, I feel like we need to...
Yay!
Go ahead.
Do they have to be online to win? They're asking. Do we have to be online for the prize?
Yes. So stay put, everyone. Stay put.
Stay put. We're gonna get to the grand prize too.
We will. A couple more prizes in between there. So the second and third prize are actually the same prize. It's called the Twin Stars package. There are two winners of this prize, and it is a $197 retail value. You are going to be getting the Get Productive Now Boot Camp e-course by Chrissy Civic, a career coach. And this is a step-by-step 9-week program to help you get control and stop feeling overwhelmed. So there are 9 modules in this course, and you are going to be getting this. So the two winners are Ashley Hemstreet of ZS Associates And Kavada Robinson, I don't have Kavada's company name, but Kavada Robinson and Ashley Hemstreet, congratulations.
Yay!
Yeah. And our last, and I feel like we need like a drum roll, the Exploding Star package. Yes, it is the Exploding Star package. It is $897 retail value. It includes the Winning the Inner Game of Career Success, which is a video course by Chrissy Civic, as well as Collaborate, Create, and Connect. Expand Your Influence. This is our conference on demand from last fall, and it is incredible. A ton of awesome content and great speakers. And then the Mastering Exceptional Self-Leadership, which is an in-depth online course that Joan and I both did on the road last year, and you will get all of those sessions. So that's a lot of online learning. And our winner of that program is DeAngel Johnson of GE. So DeAngel Johnson, congratulations.
Woo!
Be in touch.
Wow.
Yes, congratulations to everybody that has participated. I have just a couple more things that I want to close out with. And Joan, I know we'll be able to download our chat archive now and look through the questions, and perhaps we can even use some of that question content for the blog so that we can continue answering these important questions that everyone has. So a couple of things to stay connected with us. If you didn't win a prize today, you can still win a prize. We are going to give away 25 prizes throughout the month of our anniversary month this June, and we are going to be giving them away to people that are engaging with us in different areas online, whether it's a comment on our Facebook page or a comment on our blog. Perhaps you are on Twitter and you've tweeted something with us, LinkedIn, our company page, maybe you've made a comment there. So we are going to be patrolling those sites every day, and we're going to be selecting one person from one of those, randomly selecting. So keep engaged with us on whatever platform that you tend to use the most and like the best. Like I said, we are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also our Monday Motivators subscribers will be included in this prize giveaway. So watch for that if you're a Monday Motivator subscriber. And of course, our fantastic blog that is for the administrative profession. We would love for you to connect with us, engage with us, keep the conversation going. We have just a great passion for this profession, and we're so happy to be celebrating 25 years. It is a milestone, and congratulations, Joan, on 25 years.
Yes, and I want to really, again, thank all of you so much. I would not still be here today if it wasn't for all the wonderful assistants and executives and companies who have supported us over the years and really have supported your profession. So thank you all so much, and stay connected with us. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.